Copper Sun by Sharon Draper, Part 7, Amari, Chapter 31, The Doctor's Choice. The wagon lumbered slowly down the road. Most of the leaves of the trees, Amari noticed, were turning golden and copper with rusty hues. The sun shone brightly over. The wind blew gently from the east, but a storm of turmoil hovered over the small wagon in which they rode. Polly sat with her arms wrapped tightly around her body. Tidbit still cried for his mother, burying himself in Amari's arms. Amari, feeling bereft and empty inside, held the child and stared at the thick woods on either side of the road. "And to be sold once more? Is this the way it will be forever? To be passed from one owner to another like a cow?" Afi had constantly talked about her bright spirit and her future, but Amari could see nothing but the darkness. She found she did not have Afi's strength. After an hour or so, Dr. Hoskins, who so far had said nothing at all to the passengers in the back of the wagon, slowly pulled over to the side of the road. The horse snorted and grabbed mouthfuls of soft grass. The doctor was silent for a moment. Then he turned around to look at his three passengers. He took a deep breath and then said quietly, "I am ashamed to be a human being this morning. I witnessed not just murder last night, but violence and cruelty and vicious hatred. By saying nothing, I feel I am as responsible as my so-called friend who pulled the trigger." Amari and Polly exchanged stunned looks. Dr. Hoskins continued, "I am just one man. I don't know how to fight everything that is happening around me. I don't understand how one man can own another, and I don't know how to stop it." He looked around at the deep woods and the darkness within them. "But I can help the three of you." "How, sir?" Polly asked immediately. "I plan to give you at least a fighting chance." He kept looking around him as if someone would come out down the road and discover what he was doing. "I have a little money and some food that Lena made up for our journey this morning." He pointed to a small bundle beneath the seat of the wagon. "You not take us to town to be sold?" Mari asked, her voice hopeful. "No, child, I'm not." "What do we do, sir?" Polly asked. "The Ashley River runs parallel to this road," he said, pointing to the west. "Find the river and follow it north. You will have to stay hidden during the day and travel only at night. Can you do that?" "Oh, yes, sir," Polly replied with enthusiasm. "You'll have at least a day before they discover you're missing. I'll wait until tomorrow evening before I will be forced to report your escape to Mr. Derby. If I could come up with the money to pay the purchase price for the three of you, I'd do it gladly," he said. "But unfortunately, I have no such means. All I can give you is time." Amari frowned as she tried to make sense of the doctor's words. He spoke very fast, and she had to take her time to make sure she understood. "How we gonna escape?" she asked, still unsure of the doctor's plan. "I'm setting you free," the doctor replied. "We be free?" Amari asked, hardly daring to believe it. The word itself stunned her. The doctor replied, "Well, I'm going to try to give you one small chance to be free. It's up to you and to the spirits of hope and possibility." That much of the conversation Amari understood clearly. She thought of Afi and her unfailing faith in the future. "We are so grateful for this opportunity, sir," Amari said, her voice breaking. "You are saving our lives." "This could just as easily destroy your lives," he warned. "There will be patrols out and documents posted for your arrest and dogs following your trail." "How do we hide from dogs?" Amari asked. "You can't. Dogs are trained to trace your smell and attack you when they find you. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat the danger." "What happened to you when Master Derby know you help us?" Amari asked. "Me? I'll tell him we were attacked by highwaymen. I'll fake an injury to make it seem real. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine." Amari stared intently at the kindly, silver-haired doctor. She never would have imagined a white man willing to help her. "You going to tell Teeny her child not get sold?" Amari asked as she held Tidbit's hand. "Of course, but it won't be soon," he warned. Amari breathed a sigh of relief. She couldn't bear to think of Teeny's misery. The doctor looked sadly at the three young people in the wagon. "You're just children," he mused, shaking his head. He reached under the seat and pulled out an old feed sack. From it, he took a small bundle of food, a couple of coins, and a flintlock musket. Amari gasped at the sight of the gun. "Use this only to save your life, not for hunting. You do not want to draw attention to yourself." "How would it work?" Amari asked. Polly spoke up quietly. "I know how to use it. My father taught me. You half cock the hammer, Pour in the gunpowder, wrap the lead ball, then stuff it in the barrel and fire. Amari was impressed. The doctor nodded with approval. Are you a good shot? He asked. Molly looked away. No, sir, not very. My father tried to teach me, but I could not shoot straight. The doctor shook his head, gave Polly a small pouch that held the ammunition, as well as a sack. You have enough gunpowder for only one shot. Make it count. Yes, sir, I will. Thank you, sir. She carefully replaced the gun into the bag and hoisted the sack over her shoulder. Hurry, the doctor said, glancing around worriedly. Get out of the wagon and as deeply as you can into the woods. Amari looked up at him and smiled as she and Polly climbed out of the wagon. They both helped Tidbit jump down. Thank you, sir, Amari said. She never thought she'd be thanking a white man. May God have mercy on all of you, the doctor replied. The wagon disappeared into the distance. The three children stood wordlessly for a moment, watching it. Then, realizing their danger, darted into the darkness of the woods.